Let's go ahead and take a good seat. I'm going to mute everybody now, just in case anyone does try to pop on. There we go. All right. So as we come to a comfortable seat, take the time to do a little bit of shifting, a little bit of moving, even set yourself up a little higher with your hips. It's a good way to start off, allowing your low back to not have to do quite so much work to help you sit. But it's also one of the ways that we allow our hip flexors to be able to relax a little bit when we sit, and for our spine to be able to be long. So take a moment with your hands at your hips to gently tilt forward and back with your pelvis. When you tilt so that your belly comes forward, that creates a lumbar curve. And when you tilt so your belly moves back and your low back moves back, that takes away the lumbar curve. And so just for a moment, notice that movement. Belly forward, that's your anterior tilt of your pelvis. Belly back, that's your posterior tilt of your pelvis. You don't have to remember that, but just in case I happen to use those words, that might give you an idea of what I'm talking about if you don't already know. But a couple more times, tilt forward, tilt back. And then come to a more forward tilt with your pelvis, so your belly's coming forward, creating that lumbar curve, which is something that our body needs for a long, healthy spine. So now long through your sides, lengthen, and then find your shoulders moving up and back. Lengthen the back of your neck. Let your eyes close, your hands are resting down on your lap. Take a couple deep breaths right here, tuning into an inhale and exhale in and out of your nose. As you breathe in and out of your nose, if you happen to be a person who spends more time breathing out of your mouth, just notice if that's a little bit of a challenge for you. If it's something that you really have to focus on, or if that's a natural thing for you. And as you take your next couple of breaths, begin to focus on lengthening the exhale just a little bit more. Let your inhales happen naturally. And then press your exhales out just a tiny bit more than you normally would. Inhale naturally. Exhale and push your breath out just a little further. A couple more times this way, emphasizing the exhale. Then releasing this breath and simply return to a natural breath in and out of your nose. And now connect palms together at heart center in Anjali Mudra, or prayer position. And gently press palms together. Draw your shoulders up and back, shoulder blades engaging onto your back. Take an inhale here, lengthening more. Exhale, long and slow, bow towards your heart. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down. And again, gently draw your shoulders up and back. Lengthen up through the back of your neck and take a little ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. And we'll keep this movement going, but we'll capture our head on each side. So right hand over your head and then left hand over your head. As slow as you need to take it, or as fast as you need to take it, just allowing that little bit of extra stretch on each side. And then the next time you come to the right side with your head, holding onto your head with your right hand, move your left shoulder blade onto your back. And now move your neck muscles on the left side out to the left, your jawline out to the left, and take a big breath into your neck. Then inhale, come back into center. And exhale, take left ear to left shoulder. Take a hold of the side of your head with your left hand. And again, right neck muscles out to the right side, your jawline out to the right side, and take a big breath. Good, inhale, come back into center. Move your shoulders up and back. Drop your chin down and shake your head no toward the ground. Keeping your chin tucked down, come to center. Take a hand, it doesn't matter which one, to the back of your neck and give a little squeeze. And with that, just teeny tiny shakes of your head now. And then move your hand up and down with that squeeze from the base of your skull to the base of your neck. Keeping that little shake of your head going if that feels okay to your body. Maybe you find a spot that has more tension than other spots, and if so, stay there for a couple of deep breaths. Then inhale back up to center. Roll your shoulders back a few times. And roll your shoulders forward a few times. And now shoulders up and back, lengthen the back of your neck and switch the cross of your legs. Coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, shift your sitting bones, moving them back and broad. And then with your hands coming to rest at your legs wherever it's comfortable, start slowly moving through your spine, cat and cow. Think of that tilt that I mentioned at the beginning of class, the tilt forward and the tilt back of your pelvis. And start to find the movement here through your spine in a cat and cow, starting at that tilt. As you tilt your belly forward, coming into that anterior tilt, allowing that movement of your low back to create a lumbar curve. Just notice for yourself what that feels like. And as you find that tilt back, that posterior tilt where your lumbar curve goes away, notice what that feels like. Not necessarily coming to the deepest movement ever, but think of a little bit of gentleness here. One more time in this tilt forward and back with your pelvis, in this cat and cow movement. Then inhale, sit tall, and then work fingertips out in front of you, just in front of you. And you can always be up on blocks here if it feels better to your body. We're going to move a little side to side. So as you inhale, tilt your belly toward the ground as much as your body is ready for. As you exhale, walk your hands over to the left side. Inhale, extend your heart forward. Find that tilt of your belly down again. Exhale, back into center with your hands here. Inhale, tilt your belly forward. Exhale, over to the right side. Inhale, find that pelvic tilt, belly down. Exhale, back into center. One more time on each side. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, hands over to the left. Inhale, tilt your pelvis. Exhale, hands to center. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, hands over to the right side. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, hands back into center, and then move through some free cat-cow movement here. Not necessarily taking it again to a particularly deep place, but just finding the movement that feels most natural and comfortable for your spine. Inhale for your belly to move downward, and exhale for your spine to move back. And now inhale your heart forward, shift forward onto your hands and your knees. And as you come to your hands and your knees, we're going to take a little bit of gentle, slow movement into our hamstrings to begin with. So from hands and knees, I'm going to turn myself sideways so that you can see. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Find elbow pits rotating a little forward and push, expanding into your upper back. Now, reach back with your right toes tucked under on the ground and then start to pulse. And as you pulse, you get a little longer through the back side of your leg. Depending on what's tight, you might feel it through your hamstrings or you might feel it through your calves, or this might just feel like a really gentle movement. There's no right or wrong answer per se. Just notice for yourself what you're feeling, what you're experiencing today. And then switching sides, releasing your right knee back down. Inhale, your left leg reaches back, and then begin that pulse. And then notice for yourself if one side feels tighter than the other, or if they feel pretty even, or if maybe on one side you're feeling it in your hamstrings, and the other side you're feeling it in your calves. It's not symmetrical beings. And then release your left knee back to the ground. Now, big toes together, knees wide as you settle your hips back toward your heels into child's pose. Do a little bit of shifting with your hips, a little side to side movement. Inch your fingertips a little further forward. And then for another couple of breaths, let your head release down to something, whether it's the floor, your hands, or a block. Big deep breath. Inhale, rise back to hands and knees. And from this place, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose, and take a deep breath. As you reach from your lats out through your hands, grow longer, send your sitting bones up. And now pedal slowly, bend your right knee, reach toward the floor with your left heel, your left thigh pushing back. And now even more so, tilt your left sitting bone up. And then switch sides, bending your left knee, your right heel reaches toward the floor, right thigh reaches back, right sitting bone reaches up. And then back into center, rise to tiptoes, tilt your sitting bones to the sky. On your exhale, release your heels toward the ground. Inhale, rise up to tiptoes, and exhale, heels toward the ground. And now walk your way toward the front of your mat with your feet coming into your forward fold. Feel free to have blocks handy for yourself to bring the floor a little closer. Feet are inner hip distance or wider, especially if your low back is tight, hamstrings or hips are tight. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Little bend to your knees. Inhale, bring your hands up above your knees and pause. From here, we're going to find movement through our pelvis. So first, strengthen through your shoulders. Push with your hands, expand your upper back, shoulder blades engage. Now, inhale, tilt sitting bones up. Exhale, tilt sitting bones down. Inhale, sitting bones up. Exhale, sitting bones down. Good, one more time. Inhale, sitting bones up. Exhale, sitting bones down. Now, inhale, sitting bones up. Keep them lifted. Exhale, fold over your legs. Take a big, deep inhale. Long, full exhale. Let the back of your neck get long. You can even add a couple of nods and shakes here if you would like. Then inhale, extend part way. Come up onto blocks here if that's in your practice, or it can be fingers on the floor, but heel toe your feet back into inner hip distance apart. Step your right foot back into your lunge. Pause with wrists underneath your shoulders. Extend your heart. Send your left hip crease back in space. Inhale, step forward, and exhale, left foot steps back. Wrap your right hip back, extend through your sides. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, right foot steps back. And now we're going to move in and out of lunge and a hamstring stretch. So blocks under your hands or something up under your hands is helpful here. Wrap your left hip back, and as you inhale, work your front leg towards straight, but keep that left hip movement back. Send your sitting bones up. Next, exhale, bend into your front knee. Inhale, front leg towards straight. Exhale, bend. And inhale, straight. We have 2 more. Keep that hip crease moving back in space, even as you bend into your knee joint and straighten your knee joint. Good. Now, as you bend into your front knee, step forward into your fold and allow yourself a moment in your fold, wherever that is for you, hands on something or even elbows up to your thighs. Take a moment to notice maybe a difference in your sides. And then release your hands back down to your blocks and step your left foot back into your lunge. And now wrap your left hip back, or your right hip back rather, and extend your heart forward. Now inhale, work your front leg towards straight, keep your hip moving back, and then exhale, bend into your front knee. Your hip still moves back. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, bend. Inhale, and exhale. We have just 2 more here. Inhaling, exhaling. And as you find that 1 more, pause in that bent place, extend your heart forward, and step forward. Inhale, lengthen part way, send your sitting bones up. And exhale, fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press your hips back, start to lift up and open through your shoulders and rise all the way up to stand. So now we'll get into the glutes just a little bit more, the low back a little bit more with a little bit of a figure 4 stretch. So you can use any size blocks that you like. I love to come up nice and high with this one, so you can always use a chair or a table. So as you have something in front of you to hold on to, you're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee. And if your body is saying, oh, heck no, it's okay for it to say that, then touch your toes to the other side of your foot instead. It doesn't have to come over your knee. So from this place, flex your foot, push. If you have it above your knee here, push your ankle into the bottom of your quad muscle. This helps it to stay there, especially if it likes to slip off. Now start to sit your hips back. Hands come to rest at your leg or all the way down to whatever you're using, but push your sitting bones back and broad. Take a big deep breath wherever that is and slowly work down to that depth of stretch for yourself. So maybe that is coming down to a chair, but we're keeping our knees bent, extending our heart, and trying to find a lumbar curve here. So think of that tilt of your pelvis. Your sitting bones are even trying to tilt up. Take a big deep breath. Foot flexes for 1 more full breath. And then your choice, you can set your foot right down from here, or you can test your balance and rise first to your shin, and then all the way back up, and foot to the ground. And then shake it out for a moment. And now find your balance onto your right foot. Left foot, again, can either come to the outside edge of your foot or up above your knee. And now flex and then push. Muscle into ankle, ankle back into the bottom of your quad muscle. And now sitting bones start to move back as you hinge from the hips. And then maybe come to your shin first, maybe come all the way down to whatever you're using for props first. You decide. Take a moment to pause and grow longer. You're sending sitting bones back, extending your heart forward. And now think of tilting both sitting bones up. As you do so, take a big deep breath and just notice the difference on this side. And I'll just give my own example. On the other side, I felt it more in some of my outside hamstring. This one, I'm feeling it more in the glutes. So there's no right or wrong answer, and we are just not symmetrical beings. That's okay. We get to honor the puzzle that we have to work with. Take another big breath. And now again, your choice. You can challenge your balance a little, or you can simply put your foot down from right here. So if you want, hands up to your shin, and then all the way back up, and then foot back to the ground. Okay. So now feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Turn your palms forward, shoulders up and back, close your eyes and take a full breath in your mountain pose. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen partway. And exhale to fold. Pause in your fold here. Again, bring your hands up to something if you would like. And then pedal slowly out, bending one knee at a time. And as you bend one knee at a time, think of keeping both heels planted the whole time, allowing the movement to happen from the knees and from the hips. And now the next part of this is, as you move, have the intention of tilting your sitting bones up. It's asymmetric, so it's not going to happen perfectly through the whole thing. Take a few breaths and notice the movement. And notice where you can tilt your sitting bones up. And then come back into center, plant your hands, and step all the way back to a downward dog. Take a big breath. And now lower all the way down to your knees, hips to heels. One more child's pose. This is one of my favorite places to check in with the hamstring connections. Settle your head down to whatever you need it to be on, and that can always be a block. Big deep breath. And now gently push yourself up to your seat. So we're going to work on a little bit of hamstring love, a little Thai massage technique. If sitting on your knees does not work for your body, you're going to sit all the way down on your hips with your legs extended. And then you'll just work with just the hamstrings and put the blanket underneath them. If sitting on your knees works for you, you're going to take your rolled up blanket. And I'll turn sideways so that you can see. You're going to take that blanket up into your knee pits. That's the technical term. It's actually a popliteal something or other. Okay, so to get it all the way snug into your knee pits, your head coming to the floor helps. So head to the floor, then you can use both hands to wrap the edges of the blanket around your legs and then sit back. And as you sit back, you might be saying, holy smokes, because it's a lot of sensation. It's very sensational. It's supposed to be, but again, take the break you need when you need to. So if your nervous system is just like, ting, then maybe rise up a little bit, give yourself a break and come back into it. Take some breaths. And then the other part of it is a little rock side to side, gets into both the top of the calves and the bottom of the hamstrings. Rocking side to side with your hips, your legs. And if you're sitting down on your hips with your legs extended, then you are moving your thighs with your legs. Blanket is underneath your hamstrings. And now sit forward a little ways, move the blanket back to about midway down the hamstrings and sit back again. And then a little rock side to side. And I'll show this with the legs extended if you're going, what on earth? That's this. Okay, so you can do either one, and both are a really nice way to support your hamstrings. We have about 3 more breaths here. And then shift forward and move the blanket back toward your sitting bones. It's going to be toward the bottom of your calf muscles and your ankles. And then again, one more time, a little shift side to side with your hips. And then shift forward and move the blanket aside. And now all the way down onto your sitting bones if you're not already there. And from here, we'll take one last hamstring stretch before we lie. Actually, just kidding, we're running out of time. We'll lie all the way down. So as you lay all the way down, if you would like to have your blanket underneath your neck for a little neck love, then move it toward the back of your mat. And then as you lay yourself down, you can adjust so that you have a really comfortable place for your neck over the blanket, or simply lay all the way down. And then we will take one more stretch of hamstrings quickly before we rest. So pull your right knee into your chest, clasp behind the back side of your hamstrings. Left leg can extend all the way out if you would like. But then we're going to do a little press of hamstrings into hands and pulse. So press hamstrings in as you lengthen your leg, and then release that press. Move your hands to a different spot on your hamstrings and press. And then move your hands to a different spot and press. And we have two more on this side. So press and press. Then hug your knee in, give it a squeeze. And then release right leg, either knee bent or all the way out. And then clasp hands behind the back side of your left thigh. And again, press and extend, release, press, extend, release, press, extend, release. Two more. Press and extend, press and extend. And now knee into your chest, footprints come to the floor, and from here, this is where you can choose. You can set a bolster underneath your legs. You can extend your legs all the way out. You can take a butterfly with blocks underneath your thighs. Whatever you need to come to for a resting pose. Wherever you need to be to let your body rest, release, and let go. Set yourself up. Shavasana. And take a deeper breath. Gently add movement into fingers and into toes. And as you roll over to one side, pause and take a deep breath. And now slowly push yourself back up to your seat. And connect hands together in this ceiling mudra, this Anjali mudra, prayer position at your heart. With your eyes closed, take a moment for a full breath and tune in. Be present with what is. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.